Now we're going to talk about building instructions. If you wish to update an instruction, you click it to the left of center of the line. There's the center. Click it to the left. It'll put the instruction at the top of the screen. It'll give a line at the very top that says what the instruction does. Then at the bottom it shows that the action is for, and then it gives the two address fields that are needed for the action for. Now we'll pretend that we're going to change the for, but we're not. We're just going to show that when we select the action, it moves to the next field. This is the next allowable field because you're only allowed to have a register in this address field. Once you have selected the register, and here I'll click, it goes to the next field. Well, this field is empty right now because it's the field for putting a register name, a varb name, or a list name. But none of those names were given. It just went on to the next field. Now I can go to the next field by clicking pass, or I can just click on the field where I want to put data. So I click here where the 1 is. Now here it shows the 1, and I can change that. When I hit E, it's going to go into the box and give what is the offset. But I'm going to leave it stay 1, so I'm going to 0, 1, and I'm going to hit the E. Then it moves to a plus register field, which means the value could be not only 1, but plus the value in a register. But right now we're only concerned with these fields. This is address to field. Now, we're not going to enter anything in there, so to tell it that we don't want anything in there, we click this white box. Now it goes to the next field, which is a label for it. This instruction can have a label. When it shows the labels, it shows two labels are used already. AA, we see here, AA is being used already, and AB is being used already. So we can't really use these as a label for this instruction. But to show you what happens if you do, I'll say, yes, I want this instruction to have the label AB. Well, now I answered all the questions for the fields. Now I get to choose where this instruction is going to be placed. Well, if I click on replace, it's going to put it where over top of the yellow barred instruction. If I click on below, it's going to place it below. They're moving all these other instructions down one and putting this instruction below the yellow bar. We also have a third choice. If we're building at the end of the program, we can click the end. I click the end, and now you see our instruction went down to the end of the program. It's the very last instruction now. But we also see up here in red, duplicate AB, indicating that we have two instructions with starting with the label of AB. Well, we can't have that because this instruction here, for instance, it says it's to go to AB. Well, is it this AB or that AB? So it's an error, and we can't save this program the way it is. Well, if I click to the left of center. It's in update mode. Now I know what's wrong is it can't have the label AB, so I'll go right there and click AB. And then I'll go down here and say, well, AC is available, so I'll click on AC. Then I'll replace it back where it is. Notice the yellow line is there now. I say I want to replace that. Now you see it's AC. We no longer have the error message at the top. Now I want to move this thing back down again because it wants to put the lines in the center of the page. So I'm going to move it back down where it was. Down here is where you can move it up and down. It also says that what is being displayed here is instruction 0 through 23. So this is instruction 0. This is instruction 23. Now we're going to show another way of updating instructions where the yellow line stays put. I'm going to put the yellow line here at home, and then I'm going to go up here, and I'm not going to click just to the left of center, because if I do, it's going to move the yellow bar up here. I'm going to click on the action itself, the 4. Notice it put the instruction up here so it can be updated, but it did not move the yellow bar up there. So now if I go over here and say replace, well, it'll go over top of home. If I say below, it'll go below home. So I'm going to click below. Well, now I got it down there. Now I know anytime I have a 4, I should have a next. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to click on the action next. Notice that it moved the yellow bar to the instruction that I just entered. That's handy because now that I want to do this one, I now can set it below there. So I'm going to say below. Now I have a 4 next loop, but we're not concerned with that. But what if I wanted to put something between the two of them? Well, I could go over here now and set the yellow bar where I want. Go up here and get this no operation. Click on the action. Notice again, it doesn't move the yellow bar, leaves it where it is. And I can go right over here and say, put that below there. So now I have the same thing as up here. 4R, no operation, next R. I got 4R, no op, next R. But you gotta believe there's an easier way to do it than that. Well, first I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to click here to start a green box. Start a green box, you click to the left of the first instruction and to the very right of the last instruction. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say delete the green lines. Now all that work I did there is gone. But now I'm going to put my yellow marker back at home. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make a green box on the instructions that I wish to copy. There, I put the green box around them. Now I can go over here and copy the green lines below the yellow line. Now I did the same thing as it happened before. Now I have those 3 lines below the home line. Now we should see other things that can happen when we're entering an instruction. The one that we looked at here had only 2 addresses. Now here the next has 3. I clicked on this next to update it, and up at the top it says what the next instruction does. Not concerned with that now, but we are concerned with the fact that it has 3 address fields. 1, 2, and 3. Here is the action next. Now if I click on next, notice next is in blue, indicating that it is found in this instruction. If I click there, you see I go to the R. But if I decide, oh, I didn't really want a next instruction, I can go back and click on that. And here's a list of all the actions, and I could pick one of them. But I'm going to say next. Then it goes to the R. Oh, well, I want it to be an R. So really, when I was back here at next, I could have just say, oh, I'm going to skip that. Oh, I wish this 5 were 10. So I can go here, go 10, enter a 10 there. Then it goes to this field. Well, I don't want a plus register, so I'll go right to this field and I'll click it. And I'll say I want that to be 2. And I enter it, and it's 2. Then it goes, do you want a plus register for that? But I don't have to answer that question. If I did, then I'd go to this one, and I don't want either one of them. So it's okay right now to say I want to replace it. And now it says next are 10, 2 at a time. The next instruction, we'll click on it to update it, simply has 1 address field and a 2 label. It's going to branch to AA. Well, lucky enough we have an AA down here, so that's not going to give us an error. We can here change this G, say to H, and then we could say replace it. Notice because we clicked on this side, it moved the yellow bar right to where we were. But if this is a go to H, AA, it's going to down here to AA, and then it's going to hit this instruction, return G. Oh, don't want it to return to G, so I'm going to put this one in update mode. We changed the G to H, so I just have to go there, go down here, put an H in there instead. Notice when we're in update mode, it puts the yellow bar right where we're updating, so we can just say replace. Now the next instruction is going to have 3 address fields. We're going to put it in update mode. Here it is. It has an address 1 field, address 2 field, and address 3 field. So all 3 fields have to be answered. It's move, and then it says at offset 10, but it's important to know that if there's no name here, this is not really an offset, but whatever the offset value would be is going to be an immediate number. In this case, the 10 indicates how many characters it's going to move from page A here to the line. 10 characters. We could have had the number in a register, then it could be here or in a variable or a list. Let's show what would happen. If we click here, it shows us the registers, the variables, and all the lists. Now, we saw what happened before. There was nothing there, so the white box would have been clicked. Or someone would have jumped right to that field, skipping that one, because it isn't necessary. But there, we're going to go back here again. We could have put a register in there, If we do put a register in there, say register S, all of a sudden the offset and the plus register boxes disappear, because a register cannot have an offset. There is only one S register with one value. So it can't be something that's offset from S. There is nothing offset from S. So both the offset and the register fields disappeared. Now I'll click on it and show you the same would be true with variables called varbs. If I use one of them, they only have one value. So there is no offset. So now I'm going to click back there again and say it could be a list. Now if it's a list of numbers, and I said list 01, and here is list 01, which is a list of 10,000 characters. And it shows that currently it's at offset 0. It's here. But it could be some other value in this list that you want for the number of characters that are to be moved from page A to line. We could go all the way to the end of the list by clicking way down here on the position pole, and we could say, here is the one. Now you see here after the word offset 9,999, which is actually the last one of 10,000, because the first one was offset 0. The very last one is 9,999. So we're not going to do that. We're going to reposition it to the top and position it back to 0. Now it says offset 0. But normally you would never have a count stored somewhere in a list. That's very unusual. So I'm going to go back here to the list and click on the white box to take it away. And then I'm going to put my 10 back in there. Do my E. There it's back. However, what we're going to move into line. We're going to click on line. And it shows us a page called line. And because we said offset 128, it placed us at 128. Now we can type data in there, whatever it is we want. Oh, no, that's not right, because this is the result. So we let that stay where it is at 128, and we'll go here to page A. That's the source of the data. So we click on page A, and we select again. We say yes, it's page A, but we'll just go here to the offset. It says the offset is 286, and it puts the cursor here at 286, and we see the word envelope. So essentially what's happening here is it's moving the word envelope, which is at page A plus 286, to line offset 128. I'm going to hit enter because it also says plus the value of I. But in this case, we could say I was 0. So it's going to move it from page A 286 to line 128. That's an example of one instruction has 3 address fields. Now we're just going to replace that back. The next one has to do with moving numbers. And it also has 3 address fields. And in it, if we click on this 20 right away, we'll see that offset 20 in list C is the value 35. Alright, here's an example. I'm just going to click quit because I don't wish to change anything. While programming, get information from the glossary by clicking Info. Thank you for watching.